When you think about AliExpress and dropshipping in the same sentence, people think those two words are synonymous because everybody thinks about AliExpress as part of dropshipping and vice versa. And the question is it really true? In today's conversation, I want to share with you our thoughts. We have just finished our review in the last 2 weeks, and we actually spent 6 months in reviewing everything about AliExpress. And the question is it still worth it? Is AliExpress still worth it today? Not 5 years ago or 10 years ago, because 5-10 years ago, yes, they were pretty good, but today, are they still worth it? Let's talk about that. So here's the overview I really want you to pay attention to. So when you think about AliExpress dropshipping, let's first define what AliExpress is for the newbies out there. So AliExpress is basically a large marketplace that offers a diverse variety of goods from all over the world. So when you think about AliExpress, it's not just about China. People think, mistakenly that, AliExpress is just a bunch of Chinese suppliers. No. You have US suppliers who are actually featured on AliExpress. So you can be in New York and contact a US dropshipping partner on AliExpress. Okay, and the thing is, you can buy products in bulk quantities or single products. Because AliExpress sellers are typically international suppliers, the prices are frequently quite competitive. But again, 90%, about 80% of suppliers are international, and the rest is just like US. Okay, although many AliExpress suppliers are merchants, the great majority of AliExpress consumers are resellers, which is a well-known truth. So basically, AliExpress dropshipping is quite easy because suppliers have already dealt with the dropshippers and are happy to work with your requirements if you are going to be a dropshipper also. The cool thing is that there is no upfront cost or charge for dropshipping with AliExpress. With a few clicks, you can search, import, and sell AliExpress goods on your dropshipping store. Not a problem at all, okay? By the way, boss, welcome back to the show. It's really a pleasure to have you here. In today's conversation, I want to have a quick talk with you about AliExpress dropshipping. The big question is this still worth it? People talking about AliExpress all the time, but is this really worth it? So the thing is, when a customer, let's say a consumer, makes a purchase, the suppliers you connect with will handle the shipping and packing for you. However, dealing with matters like customer support, those are still your responsibility. Okay, because you are actually have outsourced the shipping, the manufacturing of the goods to a third party doesn't mean that you are just off the hook. Let me give you the pros and cons of AliExpress dropshipping this year. So here are the pros. You have a low startup cost, no inventory risks. You have a large base of suppliers and versatile products. So, we love the diversity here. You have a large catalog of products. It's very simple to select the best shipping method. You have a low risk. You have a free shop setup. And you have unique features like bulk orders. And you have minimal overheads. What about the cons here? Well, you have a large number of competitors, inventory, shipping method, product quality, and so on. You have a lack of control. It is very difficult to establish your brand because of the competition I'm talking about. Profit margins are very low, and customers find it difficult to return purchases and get a refund. Okay, so this is something you need to think about. So while there are several pros to choosing AliExpress, such as inexpensive cost, free delivery, and no membership fees, there are alternative dropshipping companies that just perform a better job altogether. So you have to think about that. So overall, if somebody were to ask you the main disadvantages of AliExpress, you have poor quality, long shipping period, and a lack of customer support. And something you need to think about. So while selecting another service may require you to spend a bit of money, the experience you will get is often worth the price, right? But you got to be willing to go the extra mile. And by the way, boss, I want to really quickly remind you of today's topic. We are having a conversation about the AliExpress dropshipping, and I'm giving you an in-depth review of the service today. Not 5 years ago, not last year, today. And so overall, it's one of those things you got to ask yourself, where are you in your dropshipping journey? Are you a newbie? Are you an experienced seller? And what have been your experience with AliExpress in the last year, in the last 2 years, in the last 3 years? The thing is that depending on your niche, you are going to find that some niches are more profitable and quote unquote easier than others. Okay, it's all about you choosing the right niche where, for example, you don't have a lot of competition, but you have a loyal audience. That's the whole thing about having a niche product, and you are able to sell consistently. So you don't have this. You don't have to deal with seasonality, cyclicality. Like sometimes it goes up, sometimes the revenue goes down, and no, you want to have some kind of consistency. Let me give you the approach that that you need to pay attention to. So how does AliExpress dropshipping work? So for dropshipping, everyone can use AliExpress. Not a problem at all. Entering this market is low cost and has a low barrier to entry. So you can sign up via email address or log in using one of your social accounts, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, LinkedIn, or what have you. And however, you must have your dropshipping store hosted to work with AliExpress for dropshipping. So what I mean by hosted, you can choose, for example, Shopify or Ecommerce or WooCommerce, or you can choose a marketplace. For example, it can be Amazon, it can be eBay, it can be Walmart, it can be Etsy. Okay, and you should also consider that AliExpress is not an all-in-one solution. If you don't use third-party dropshipping software to connect let's say your client orders and suppliers, you'll have to manually input the purchase date on AliExpress each time someone buys from your dropshipping store. And you don't want to do that. You definitely don't want to do that. Okay. And so you need to choose your AliExpress dropshipping niche carefully here, because again, it's all about making sure that you are distancing yourself from the competition. So if you don't have the proper niche, you're going to try to sell to everyone, and it may not work. If you're trying to sell to everyone the same product, it may not work. You want to have a loyal audience and use and actually parlay that loyal audience into a successful dropshipping business. You also want to choose a trustworthy supplier. And when we talk about choosing a trustworthy supplier, we're talking about making sure that you having the right price at the right time. But it's not just about choosing the right supplier for yourself though, because at the end of the day, it's all about making ssync. There's harmony between the kind of supplier you're choosing and the kind of products you are selling. Can the supplier take care of your customers for you? Can the supplier actually ship products, let's say, real fast? Can the supplier actually be with you for the long run? Because it's not just about having a relationship today, and before you know it, the suppliers start telling you questions. They start asking you questions about your business moves and what have you. You want to have a supplier who is willing to work with you over the long run, and that supplier must be able to back you up in terms of giving you the best product and shipping the best product to your customer. And you need to set up a dropshipping store. So when we talk about, dropshipping store, that's basically, it really depends on your needs. Now, there are three ways of doing this. There are three ways. You can actually go to an online store, a marketplace. You can go to an e-commerce platform, or you can just hire someone to build an online store from ground up, from scratch for you. Okay, it's all about, you have to really pay attention to what really works for you and the kind of resources you have. Okay, and it's all about making sure that you are able to work with the right resources too, though. So when we talk about creating a website, if you say that, you know what, I'm not interested in going with Shopify, I'm not interested in going with Amazon, with eBay, with Etsy, what have you, then you need to create a website. And when we talk about creating a website, there are three alternatives to consider. So first, get a website developer and give the task to him or her. Second, you want to start building your store from scratch with an open source content management system. Third, you want to employ the services of a website builder. So those are things you need to pay attention to. Make sure that you have high quality photos, retouching services if necessary, and being upfront about the product quality in terms of what you are offering. Okay, and again, those things you have to be upfront. Don't actually tell them later on. And you want to use automation tools for your AliExpress dropshipping business. So there are a lot of automation tools out there, and one of them being AutoDS. So the whole thing is that you want to actually automate your order tracking tool, your inventory replenishment tool. You also want to pay attention to things like inventory management over time, so that you are keeping track of stock levels. Okay, this is important because you want to be able to have a tool that will automatically transfer the order to the supplier and actually make sure that your inventory is updated in real time. So it's all about real time. Okay. And what you want to do also is that you want to integrate the proper tool to your dropshipping store so you are able to get order information into the system. Okay, the bottom line here is you have a lot of tools nowadays. I mean, we actually covered this on other shows, so you can basically automate the whole thing, which you should be doing. You should automate your dropshipping business because that's where the juice is really at in the long run. And one thing I want you to really think about here is to pay attention to what really matters to you in terms of getting the right type of tool. Because the thing is, if you choose AliExpress, sometimes when it comes to payment methods, if you don't have the right payment method, you're not going to qualify. Because see, the thing is that you must be capable of paying your supplier, right? You find someone you like, they have the right products for you, you test them out and you say, you know what, okay, I'm ready to buy. But if you don't have the right sort of credit card or debit card or payment information in general, you're not going to qualify. And the thing is that you have to understand that AliExpress provides a global service as well as numerous e-commerce payments options for suppliers. And remember, AliExpress is part of Alibaba Group, and you have to ask yourself whether or not you are and Alibaba Group has also Alibaba, the website. So you gotta make sure that you have access to the type of credit card payments they accept. By the way, I want to quickly remind you of today's topic. I'm having a conversation with you about AliExpress dropshipping. This is an in-depth review that aims to give you all the info you need to move forward confidently. Okay. And when we talk about payment options on AliExpress, you have the ability to go with the wire transfers, web money, Ideal, you have Western Union, you have Zofort, banking, you have Mercado, you have cash payments, you have bank contact, you have AliExpress pockets. So you have a lot of ways to actually make payments. And one thing I also want to say here is that you need to choose also the shipment method. So if you sign up on AliExpress, make sure that you have the shipment method, because shipments when it comes to AliExpress can be really long, especially if the dropshipping supplier is in China and your customers are in the States, for example, then the distance is like crazy, right? Geography wise, that your products will be like at sea for 21 days or 30 days. So if there is a possibility of choosing, let's say, a local, if you find like an AliExpress dropshipping supplier who has local warehouses, then go ahead and just go with that one. That way you can reduce the shipping time. Because remember, when you have the AliExpress standard shipping method, shipping time can go from 12 days to 2 months. 2 months. And in the US, it can be from 19 days to 39 days. So again, it's all about making sure that you have the right type of shipment. And if you go with the free shipments, you're gonna have to wait a long time. I mean, very, very long time. The next thing I want you to do here is, if you're trying to, let's say you are trying to be successful with AliExpress dropshipping, you want to educate yourself about the return and refund policy of AliExpress. Because what they have here is that, AliExpress dropshipping has AliExpress buyer protection. So it's a program that ensures that your orders and your legal rights are taken care of. And so the question is, how do you deal with customers' complaints in situations where they ask for refunds and returns? Well, as you already know, if your customers do not receive what they requested, they are likely to request a refund, and you have to accept that. So the first thing you need to do is contact the supplier to fix the problem and find a solution to satisfy the consumer. Then provide the customer with a refund or a replacement. So this is one of those things where you have to ask for a change here. And if the product is damaged, let's say the product is damaged during shipment, you want to request that the customer take pictures of the damage, right? Because you can't just take people's words at face value. No, you want to see proof. So at that point, what you want to do here is you want to determine the potential cause of the problem, communicate with the shipper and with the supplier, and you want to send them the photos. Now, if you have a great relationship with the supplier, chances are they're going to work things through. They're going to pay attention and solve whatever, and they'll ship it back. And it's important to really understand what really will drive your success on the platform. At the end of the day, if you want to be a successful dropshipper on AliExpress, you have to know how to cultivate relationships with suppliers. And I want to also talk to you about pricing. You can see the pricing on the screen here. That dropshipping with AliExpress is free. So if you're planning to start dropshipping with no money or a low budget, AliExpress dropshipping is a great option for you. And however, each product at AliExpress has a different price depending on the supplier, but you can find suppliers who offer very affordable prices. The rest is up to you depending on how you price your dropshipping products. Okay, but yeah. So I really want to talk a little bit about our verdict here. So there are several positives and negatives of using AliExpress. On one side, you obtain a large variety of products in quantities at a very reasonable price. Don't get me wrong here. But on the other side, you have long shipping methods. And this can actually make it challenging to obtain customers for your dropshipping store. And, so imagine like nowadays, Amazon is offering clients 1 to 2 business days of delivery. And in the meantime, AliExpress is taking like 2 months. Sorry about that. So basically, the bottom line here is you have to really pay attention to what's really good for you. AliExpress may be a great platform for small businesses with low shipping costs, but only if you know how to avoid low quality goods. However, it's also your responsibility to verify that you select the correct supplier. So the point I'm trying to make here is that you have to really pay attention to certain things before buying. And so the answer in terms of AliExpress is a great dropshipping platform for you. The question is totally up to you. It depends on what you're looking for. And what we can say is that everyone can use AliExpress, right? Entering this market is low cost and has a low barrier to entry, and it's free. Moreover, on the other hand, you obtain a large variety of product in quantity at a reasonable price. But on the other hand, let's say, shipping times are exhausting, and this decreases customer satisfaction. Not just that, but a lot of products, order mistakes, or damages occur too. So this is something that you need to think about. And I also want to say that, at the end of the day, it's all about what really works for you. It's all about like when buying for the first time, make sure that you look for items like, return, like ROHS, CE trademark data, and REACH certification to provide you with greater protection. And it's important to know. But overall, this is a great product. And one thing I need to say about AliExpress dropshipping is that this is a long-term game. Because honestly, you're not going to get on a platform right away and just find a reputable lender. Sometimes it takes time, and you have to really, really, really do hard in this. It's not being hard; it's being smart. You want to be smart at the beginning so that you can actually deliver on your dropshipping business. Because AliExpress is just it's just one platform. There are many platforms out there. You have Modellist, you have Wix dropshipping. You have you have Spocket, you have Doba, you have Deezers. I mean, you have So you do have a lot of players out there, and it's really, really up to you. Thank you so much for your attention. I really appreciate it. In today's conversation, I was just talking to you about the AliExpress dropshipping review. And I give you the overview, the pros and cons, the approach, the pricing, the verdict, and the recap. Thank you. God bless you. I'll speak to you another time. But until then, remember, stay marvelous.